A few weeks ago, we had an episode, What Happens When Your Guest Cancels 2 minutes before you're set to record. Autumn had booked someone to join us, a YouTuber that she likes. He seemed to be into it, and then you could tell because correspondence dropped off as the recording day approached. And then, after no response, you get the message, oh, I'm so busy, I can't join. And tonight may actually be what happens when your co-host cancels 2 minutes before you're set to record. I get a text message from Autumn. Oh, Greg, I'm so exhausted. What a day. And then I had the 3 dots after that pop up. She's writing another message. This goes on for several minutes. Then it stops. No message comes through, which makes me think that Autumn was trying to come up with a reason why she didn't want to record outside of just being tired, which totally valid reason in its own right, though we do set the time to record. We know when we're going to record. You think you would conserve the energy leading up to the recording. But, if you want to say, I can't do it, I am just out of my mind exhausted, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to accept it. But she gets frightened. There's a fear that I'm going to abandon her forever if something like this happens. So surely she's trying to craft some message that will let me down easy while preserving our friendship. And then she couldn't come up with it, which is why there was nothing. And you know what? If she couldn't join, you would be, I was going to say treated. I know that's not necessarily a treat to some people when I do a solo show. The numbers, the downloads tell that exact story. There's always fewer downloads for whatever reason when I do a show alone, which it's a shame because I think the shows I do alone are good. I enjoy them. I'm not saying they're as good as when Autumn's here, but not so bad that you shouldn't listen. But anyway, treated maybe isn't the proper term to use in this instance, but you would have been given a show where I'm doing it solo. I don't know if that's going to be the case yet. Guess you're going to have to find out after the intro music plays. What is it? What happened?
It was just normal kid stuff, just taking care of them, and I just felt like, and then baby was being really horrible, and it was just a lot. And then, and even just now, like he's, he like steals stuff and then runs away with them. And
what does he steal? Underwear? Panties?
Just anything. Like something fell when I was looking for something while I'm waiting, and like it was a crocheted square that I'm like building something, and he stole it and ran with it, and it was just a lot of that all afternoon, and I'm just tired.
You should spray it with Pine Sol. Everything.
Well, I read that you can spray stuff with peppermint oil. They don't like that. So
I also hear that about ants and rats.
I think it was peppermint. I have to look into it. Anyway, that might have been mosquitoes.
Maybe it's wintergreen.
But I don't know.
Spearmint.
I'm just tired of
life?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big thing.
I'm tired of taking care of, everything. And then I'm sorry, this is stupid. I started like thinking about tomorrow and the show and how sometimes I'm treated on the show, and like there's this thing going around on TikTok where like little girls that are black are watching the Little Mermaid trailer, and they're excited that she's black, and I think it's really sweet. And I just started thinking about Eric shitting all over it, and me having to just stay quiet and just feeling like, Jesus, this show is such a fucking downer. It's like nothing good. Like he never talks about anything good. Everything is stupid. And it's frustrating. And like, I was even afraid to bring up today with you about the dog because I didn't know you would make fun of me for it or something.
Well, I'm sorry that there's a fear of bringing up the dog. I know that I gave you a hard time about the dog. But I also...
I just feel like I am, I do this all alone. And it's hard. And then, like, I don't get any, like, slack. Like, I have to do everything right, or I get, like, shit on for it. And
by whom?
Eric.
Oh, so just with the radio show.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to, like, not bring things up anymore. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I take baby out and he pees, and then he comes inside and pees. And I step in it. I get sad and angry. And I have to clean it up.
Yeah, how are your carpets looking?
They're fine. You can't tell. I bought a UV light so I could find the pee spots and clean them.
Oh, well, what else did you find?
That's all. That's all.
Yeah, there's not more.
They replace the carpets after every tenant.
Yeah, but who knows what you've got on those rugs yourself?
What do you mean? My juice?
I didn't say it.
So I don't know. I'm just tired. And a lot of times when I'm tired, I let the, negative stuff like flow in.
You let the woof out. The WOOF.
Yeah.
The werewolf.
The werewolf.
Not the werewolf. Werewolf.
Werewolf woof.
Yeah, so maybe, if the negative stuff flows in and overwhelms you, washes you away like a village.
Yeah.
After a dam breaks. It feels as though there's not a proper channeling of the negative stuff.
Yeah.
An avoidance of
I really
it.
was handling everything, It was just near the end where, it was just like, I'm just trying to read a book to the kids so that they can go to sleep. And I'm constantly interrupted because baby is like tugging on Pete's pillow, or he's stealing like a thread of yarn that he found under Ellie's bed and is like running away with it, or he like plucks something out of the garbage and he's going to make a mess. And it's just like, God damn it. Could I just fucking get a break?
All right, well, I won't give you shit about Precious anymore.
Yeah. I'm getting him trained because I was joking with the kids today. I was like, I just got to throw money at this problem. I suck at training a dog.
I mean, I would have no clue how to train a dog. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. People don't know, and I don't know. I'm trying my best, but...
Yeah, Delicious sounds like a handful.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. He's cute, and he's sweet, and he's fun. But it's like, just like the kids, like, they don't sense that, like, oh, are you struggling? Maybe I'll just chill for a minute so that you can get your shit together. It's like, nope. Are you feeling like you're drowning? Well, guess what? Here's 14 things that I'm going to pile. Could you hold this while you're drowning? And then could you hold this while you're drowning?
Well, at least the kids, when you cry, they know something.
Oh, yeah.
They know something. They've pushed it too far. Rascal, on the other hand, doesn't even pick up on that.
No. Maybe he will later, but he's still a baby.
Oh, that's his
Peter's
name.
like extra sweet. Like, he'll do all kinds of things to try and make you feel better. It's really sweet.
Except for the one thing you want them to do.
No.
I feel like that's how kids are. You need them to do one thing. It's like, just stop doing that. And then you get upset. And then they'll do everything else except for that one thing. I made you cookies out of Play-Doh. Look at this. I drew you a picture out of mayonnaise and ketchup.
Right. Now that's messy.
Yeah, it's like the one thing I wanted you to do is stop making a mess.
Right.
I cut my finger and put blood all over my shirt to show you that I'm also willing to be in pain like you are.
I don't want that.
I'm not saying you want that, but that's what the kids do. It's like, I just told you I didn't want you to bleed. That's the only thing I didn't want.
Yeah. I think that I have like hurt myself before, and Ellie's like, what happened? I'm like, oh my God, like, oh, this thing. She's like, okay, can I have a snack? Like, bitch.
Yeah, selfish beings.
Yeah, they are.
Selfish, self-centered.
So yeah, it just was,
It's their brains.
maybe I was able to be upset with you, you know? Because I was not feeling like crying. But when I finally got to you, it was like, let me just release all of this shit out of my eyes.
You just dumped it on me. I don't know if that's good
Yeah,
or
I'm
bad.
sorry.
It's well, one, you're saying you're living in fear of me.
Well, not so much fear. I just said it to you that,
There's some kind of fear that I'm gonna come after you
yeah, yeah,
for Dustbin.
because you have.
Dustbin the dog.
And I mean, I can trust people that I'm closest to, you know, but like, again, I just feel sometimes stuff like that just makes me feel so alone. Like people that I feel like I can trust.
Turning on you.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about all the stuff that's going on. You're the one who decided to get the dog.
Yeah.
You did this to yourself.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of, you know?
No, you know that's what you're gonna get
Yeah.
from certain people.
Yeah, it's really hurtful and sad.
I won't bring up the dog anymore, and I'll actually start getting its name correct. Funny.
I mean, it's not working out right now. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, keep doing what you're doing if it's working. You know, that's what I always say. Like, if it works for you, then it's working for you. But this is not working. I have to get him more under control.
How much
And
does...
that's
Did you ever see the My Cat from Hell? And the guy comes in with a guitar case.
that fucking weird ass looking guy?
He's got a guitar case filled with contraptions and treats and whatever the hell else he needs.
And he's like, his hair, I feel like, is very sculpted, right? His facial hair.
Oh, yes. I think he's bald.
He's bald, but he has like weird beard.
Oh, do they still do new episodes of that show?
I don't know. I doubt it, right?
Season 1, Episode 1, May 7th, 2011. He hates my boyfriend. Fifi's ruining my life. That's Episode 2. Wildcat.
Please, I hope one of the names for the episodes is Cat Scratch Fever.
Yeah, this guy is totally bald, but he does have that weird facial hair where he's got... It's pretty much a full beard, except he creates a line of separation between his sideburns and the rest of his beard. And then down on his chin, he shaves in a weird spot where there's not hair. I mean, whatever. I don't know why you need to do that, but the guy got on TV and he probably said, I
Sure.
need to look.
It's a gimmick.
My Cat from Hell, now casting. I wonder if this is still going on.
Wow.
There's 11 seasons. I think that this may still be happening.
Wow, really? On what channel? Like the not Lifetime, but the Hallmark channel.
I think it used to be on TLC, but it may just be on Amazon these days, or maybe
Yeah.
Amazon's the one that is showing. Wait, Animal Planet's what it was on.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't TLC. It was Animal Planet. I gave it too much cred because
I
TLC.
Animal Planet for America's Funniest Animals. Do you remember watching that?
No, I wouldn't watch that one.
Oh, it was so good.
I liked, this was one of the first cat videos ever. I think it was on America's Funniest People, not Home Video. Maybe it was Home Videos. I don't remember because it's not a person. It was a cat. It was a cat playing a keyboard.
Oh, yeah. Keyboard cat.
Yeah, but I feel like this was before the keyboard cat. Or maybe it was this keyboard cat is the one that became the popular keyboard cat with the internet.
I thought that was internet and not America's Funniest.
No, there was a cat playing a keyboard a long time ago, before the internet. And I know keyboard cat's a thing now. Let me look up keyboard cat. The original. Maybe the original. What is the site that tells you about memes? It's like Know Your Meme or something.
Oh, yeah. This would be like pre-meme if it's not the keyboard cat that I'm thinking of.
I mean, it is. I'm looking. It's the one with the blue shirt.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, there was a keyboard cat on one of these shows, and it may have been this cat. Know Your Meme. It's trying to load. It's very slow. Year 2009. No way. No, I saw something a long time ago. See that? Wait, keyboard cat filmed in the mid 1980s. Yeah.
Oh, is it the one with the blue shirt?
Yeah. See, and this got hijacked by the internet and stolen. This person, Fatso, is the cat's name, by the way. But this person, Charlie Schmidt, it was way ahead of his time. He created Keyboard Cat.
Nice.
In the mid 1980s.
That makes sense. It was in the 80s because the video quality looks like that.
Yeah, it looks old. It looks like one of those big VHS shoulder-mounted home video recorders. Which blows my mind that people would sneak those into movie theaters and Broadway shows.
How would they do that? Pay people off, right?
I don't know how. You can't hide it. It's not like you shove it in your pants. Even the one time I went to, I don't know if this has ever been made public, but it's so many years in the past when Yucko the Clown went to Turner Field and rushed onto the field. And then he claimed that he held up a sign that said bring Howard Stern to Atlanta, which is not what the sign said. But he parlayed that into a relationship with Howard Stern. So fine, whatever. But anyway, when we were going to the Braves game where he did that, I was the one to drive him to the Braves game as an intern. They're like, take Yucko to the game. I'm like, oh, okay, great. They gave us tickets. And then Yucko gave me a video camera and he wanted me to film it. It was a camcorder. But it was small. It was still bigger, but they were handheld at that point.
Yeah, it had the strap for your hand.
Yeah. And, I was able to hide it in my pants somehow, probably because they were baggy pants also. But I strapped it into my waist. But in these old VHS ones, there's no way I could have gotten away with that. I also didn't film. When he ran on the field, I'm like, I'm not going to be involved in this. I just left. I didn't.
Really?
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't film the incident. He wanted it for his reel or whatever.
Oh, did he ask you about it later?
Yeah, I think he did. I started avoiding his phone calls. It was a coward.
What was the sign that he held up? What did it actually say?
It was John Rocker had been traded. And it said something like bring back Rocker. Okay, yeah, bring back John Rocker. That's okay. Everyone needs John Rocker on their fucking baseball team. That guy needs the spotlight. Yeah. But it was set up behind the scenes and it was supposed to be a thing that he decided to do on his own because if the radio station was tied to it somehow, it's an illegal activity. And then I guess legally it could have opened up a can of worms. But in that process, he was kind of left to rot. He got out of jail quickly, but he was calling a bunch of people that night trying to get out of jail. And everyone
Did he call you?
Yeah, he called me at some point. What do you want me to do? I make no money. I'm an intern.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not coming to get you. I didn't answer, though. There was a message left. That's how I knew what he wanted, but I didn't answer.
That's funny.
I also it was calling from a jail, so it was probably collect, too.
Was he in Braves jail?
That's a good question. Do they transfer you?
Yeah.
They do have a holding cell at the stadiums, usually. Do they transfer you to another jail, or do they just write you a summons and then set you on your way? I don't know the way it works. And maybe it's the extent of the problem you caused on the field.
Right. It seems like they would just like a slap on the wrist. They bring you in, you're in trouble, you're leaving. Bye.
Yeah, but they also want to deter that kind of behavior. That's why they don't show it on TV. The cameras will cut away. They don't want the people to get any kind of notoriety. It's amazing that there's a standard set for something like this. Someone doing something as, it maybe isn't totally innocent, but innocent enough, running on a field like, no way, we're not giving that person any kind of attention. Then you got these people who cause real harm, mass shooters, anyone who does some kind of, then that's taught, there's their manifesto and here's pictures of them and let's talk about, hey, how about you apply the same thing to those people? How about you say, fuck you, you're getting zero attention if you do something like this? Because I really do think that would deter a lot of people. Would it stop it totally? Probably not, but I think that people want there to be the coverage, and I don't know what they're getting out of it ultimately, but it's like, yeah, see? It was me. I know,
but it could lead to like sort of sweeping away or hiding things under the rug of things going down,
Well, I mean, we're going to hear about it if something like that happens. It is huge news, and ignoring it completely, I know that it's not the option, but do you need to name the person? Do you need to show their pictures?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You take that away and a lot of these fucking losers disappear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was watching. He's like a motivational speaker now or something, but he committed suicide, or he tried to commit suicide off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he survived. And so he told his whole story and everything. But
do you think he did this on purpose? And was it set up so he could survive and then become a motivational speaker? Are you sure?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
All right. I know I'm cynical.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I think by the time I saw him, like he was very practiced in explaining what happened. It wasn't like a cathartic experience as he was talking about it. It was something. It didn't seem like he was reading a script, but it was, I'm sure, thought out and talked about a lot. But
all right, I see. Look, if he's gotten to the point in his life, where he felt the need to kill himself, I don't want to shit on that. I'm sorry that.
No, but I know what you mean. I mean, that did cross. I didn't think he did it because, I mean, I think like a huge percent, like 90+% people that jump off that bridge just die. So it wouldn't be like.
Yeah, but I was thinking, like maybe no one saw it, and there was a barge filled with foam cubes at the bottom, and he had a parachute on.
With the empty cardboard boxes stacked on top of each other.
Exactly. And then he said, I tried to jump and kill myself. And because there was no footage or anything, we don't realize that he had set this whole thing up.
No, it was real because he jumped, and then there was a lady that saw him do it and called her friend in the Coast Guard, and that person in the Coast Guard just happened to be patrolling the bridge that day. And was able to find him really quickly and like save him, or else he would have drowned.
What the hell happened to him? It's more than drowning. Like I know that's the.
Oh yeah, he broke
everything,
vertebrae, and.
Does he walk these days?
Yeah, I think. Oh, I don't know. He was sitting. I don't know.
It was in 2000, and the guy's.
His last name like Hines or something.
Yeah, Kevin Hines.
Yeah. Okay.
He was adopted when he was young.
He was his,
he had
all before he was adopted. He was in the foster care system. The whole thing was like, it was him and his brother. His parents were alcoholic addicts, and like they were feeding the babies like, garbage to eat, like expired milk and like Coca-Cola, and like didn't know how to take care of them.
He had epilepsy apparently.
Yeah, well, that came later. So his parents also probably were bipolar, and then his brother died. So like him and his brother were, working through the system, and the whole thing was that they were going to get, they were to be adopted together, and then they were in foster systems, and they were both getting abused and neglected. And then the brother died, and then he was super sad and alone. And then he was gonna get adopted, and his biological parents came and kidnapped him. And then they were like on the run. And then like once they realized, we still can't do this, they like brought him back. He just like went and got adopted, a good family. But then he was like 19 when he tried to kill himself. But he started to develop, like schizo, whatever, because of his family history. And then also his own like trauma growing up and, poor care. So then he was like hearing these voices, and the voices were telling him like he needs to kill himself. And anyway, so now his whole thing is like, it was crazy. He said now he still struggles obviously with, feelings like that. And he says that he's just learned to be able to say like, I need help now. That's his big thing. So like he's been at the airport and starting to freak out for any, number of reasons. And he said, I've gone up to gate agents and said, I need help now. And they're like, okay. And they like handle it. They like take him somewhere and they get him evaluated and he gets figured out.
But why is that? So, they know him?
What's that?
Why? I feel like for the most part, if you went up to someone's like, I need help now, they stare at you and pretty much imply, get away from me, freak. Yeah.
Well, his whole thing, I really felt what he was talking about when he was walking on the bridge, trying to figure like, am I going to do this? Is this happening? And, he said he's hysterically crying, walking on this bridge. He said that, joggers and people are passing him and not saying anything. And even like he saw a number of police cars go by and they didn't say anything or try to help him. And he thought, see, nobody cares about you. And I was like, ooh, because he knew that the people close to him in his life, like his dad that morning was like, knew something was wrong and was trying to get him to come with him to work, or like he wasn't going to go to work. And he's like, I'll take you to the movies, like anything you want. And, this guy was saying like, nope, I have to go to college today. Like I have to go to school. I have a test. I have to go. And what he really did was like, his dad dropped him off at the school and said he'll pick him up after because he wanted to know that he was there. But really, he like left the school and went to the bridge and was going to commit suicide. But that feeling of like, that the people that are closest to you care about you, but that feeling of like nobody cares about you.
Well,
because
in that
look
situation,
at all these strangers, like that really resonated with me.
Yeah, but in that situation, you're not going to get people to just stop, especially if you're just seemingly minding your own business.
Yeah.
So
I would stop.
You would just stop for a person walking across the bridge?
No, if they were hysterically crying. I stopped. There was a lady crying on a bench. I was with Ellie. We were still in Atlanta and I was walking her around in her stroller, just like taking this big long walk. And she was crying and I sat down with her and I asked if she was okay.
She screamed at you, leave me the fuck alone.
No, she was like, yeah, I'm okay. Okay.
I mean, there's a time this isn't the exact same thing, but I saw a woman slip in the snow and someone tried to help her up and she screamed at him.
Yeah, that's New York.
I guess she was embarrassed. And
she yelled at them?
Yeah, she was screaming at them. I was on a bus.
What, was she crazy?
No, she looked like a normal person. I was on a bus, so I didn't hear what she said, but I could tell she was yelling and shooing the person away.
Oh.
I mean, I guess if you see someone on the bridge, I don't mean to downplay what this guy was feeling, and if he was bipolar, especially hearing voices in his head. Even if that's not the case, it doesn't make it any less real if someone feels the only way out is to kill themselves. He did say he jumps off the bridge and immediately felt regret.
Yeah, but that's everybody that has survived.
I know, I hear that quite often. I feel like I would just feel shit my pants fear at that point. I don't know if it registers as regret, because to me that is a bit more of a reflective thing. Like, I'm feeling regret for these things. It's
probably like a survival instinct that kicks in.
Yeah, that gets assigned regret. And again, again, maybe if you get yourself to a point where you have time to think about what you're doing, trying to end your life, there is some kind of regret there. But I mean, He says that he contorted his body so he landed feet first instead of however he was going to fall. And then,
I didn't see that.
and
part.
then a sea lion kept him afloat.
No,
That's what I'm not lying about it. That's what it says. It
I
says
didn't say that.
after he surfaced, he felt a creature nudging his body, which was a sea lion, helping to keep him afloat until he was rescued by the Coast Guard.
So I have heard something about a sea lion. I did not realize that was him. In the 2 interviews that I watched, he didn't say that. My whole point bringing this part up was really because
You can relate.
like, the notoriety or something you said. Oh, because in the documentary The Bridge about like people like they have footage of people throwing themselves off the bridge, off of I guess the Golden Gate Bridge or just bridges in general, I don't know. And I watched an interview with the director, and the director was like, we tried to keep it like super quiet because he was worried that people were going to commit suicide just to sort of get their names, I don't know, out there saying, it was this. It was that the 100th suicide, they were keeping like track of how many suicides have happened on the bridge, and like the radio stations were talking about it, and there were like countdowns of how many suicides there were, and there were people jumping and leaving like with notes on them saying like I'm number 99, you know. And so when he was doing this documentary, he was trying to be really careful not to make it like we're glorifying this.
Yeah, what is that bullshit? Some shock jockery? A radio station? Yeah, we're
So
keeping count.
stupid.
Ring the bell every time somebody jumps off. The blatant disregard. Like there's this idea that people are weak if they get to the point where
Right, so fuck him.
yeah,
Let's use him for content.
which quite often, one, committing suicide I don't find to be a weak act. Like if
No.
there's anything that I would never do is probably commit suicide because I'm too scared to do such a thing. I don't find it to be weak, but what is the idea that's tied to it? Oh, you're just giving up and running away from all your problems. It's like, no, maybe everything's so fucking overwhelming and you don't see a way out and it weighs so heavily on you that, and you probably, a lot of times I know people feel like a burden to other people in their lives, and it feels like an act of mercy for the other people. I'm going to free you of this shit that I put on you. So yeah, it's shitty. It annoys me. Again, I don't know if the radio stations really were doing. You said they were. I believe you. I just don't know.
I mean, yeah, this was in an interview of the director, so I don't know.
I don't know if it's what the context was. If it was like a rock radio morning show,
Right.
Yeah. Or if it was just a news station reporting another number.
Right.
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I wouldn't put it past.
No, it sounds right if that's what a rock station was doing. So
Yeah, this is what a topic.
how much of me crying is going to be in this?
Probably all of it.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were going to join. We didn't know, but the listeners didn't know if you were going to join until the theme played.
Okay. Interesting.
And so
I'm sorry.
it's going to open up with you crying. Don't apologize. I think we went through this before, like when the episode about Father's Day, and some jerk left a comment about it. It's like, oh, that's one that should have not been aired or something like that because you were upset. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it does make them uncomfortable.
It might. Yeah. Like maybe they just want to have fun here. They don't want to hear me complaining or.
Which, look, I guess is fair, especially if people are dealing with things in their own lives and then they hear you struggling. Quite often this is supposed to be an escape. Like, I'm going to listen to this thing for a bit and
Right.
make me forget about my life, but also it's how you're feeling. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah. And that's what our show is, And I don't think that I come off as like, feel bad for me.
You've cried much more than I have on the show.
I do cry though. That's my thing.
Well, you should suck it up. Stop being a puss.
Yeah. Pussy. Yeah. I mean, it is, if it makes people uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but it is just the way that it goes. And
I did say,
I don't know. Everybody goes through shit. I'm just being real open with my going through shit. And I do feel better, you know. It does have to come out. Otherwise it just builds up.
If you were to do a show similar to this one or some of the other ones where you've cried and somebody doesn't enjoy it, maybe they never come back. I don't know. That aside, I hope that, you know, it's totally fair. It's like, I'm not into that episode, but I'll come back. I hope that's...
Oh, yeah.
I hope that's what the case is. If somebody comes across an episode, they're not enjoying it, they're not digging it, don't listen to that one, but they do come back. But on the flip side, what I was going to say, if you're faced with a decision, one person listens, they don't like it, they leave a nasty comment, or somebody listens and makes them feel less alone because they hear you. Because people probably have this idea that your life is glamorous, you're on the radio, you make all this money, even though it's talked about quite often that you don't make that much money. But, you know, I don't know how much people buy that. I think a lot of people think that that's probably an act.
Yeah.
They think you've got to be making money. It's radio, it's show business. And they don't really realize that there's no fucking money. Like, it's not real. Like, well, it is real. Like, the comments about you not having money are real. What I'm saying wasn't real was, you know.
No, I know.
That there is money.
Okay.
But I guess to hear that, maybe it's helpful for one person. I think I would choose that. And it's like, well, one person feels less alone. 6 people hated the show.
Oh, I mean, I like being honest and open. I mean, not necessarily. I like being open. And if somebody doesn't like it, I actually don't really mind. They're allowed to not like it.
What if it was 1,000 people hate the show? One person feels good because you made them feel less alone.
I don't know. Then I guess I'd be, I wouldn't be a very successful podcast because I wouldn't change that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't just be fake just so that people would listen.
Well, what's more important is, I guess, what I'm asking.
Right. Yeah. Being honest and open. I'm not going to fake things.
Helping a person indirectly.
Because like what you and I do here is, at least for me, I mean, this show has changed everything for me, honestly. I mean,
if you hadn't done this podcast, if you hadn't done this podcast ever, if we never started this, what would your life look like?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, you can't answer that. I can't answer that. But what this show did was it made me realize that I was not actually being honest, because I was, and I not like I was actively being dishonest. I was not being honest with myself, and almost like what, you know, people always say about like OJ, like he's convinced himself that he didn't murder those 2 people. Like, I convinced myself that what I was saying was really me, even though it wasn't. And the stuff that you talked about and you being honest made me realize, like, oh, you know what? I'm still putting up a front. What's that? And then everything started to crumble, which ended up being a good thing. I'm rebuilding that. But
even these instances where you feel alone,
yeah,
you stick with it being a good thing.
I do feel real alone. Sometimes that's hard, I guess.
It is hard.
Well, especially like
someone like you, especially.
Yeah. I'm getting, you know, I am.
It's not an insult. You're a person who likes to have other people around and interact with other people, just in the best of times. So especially when you're feeling down or reflective or whatever the hell it may be. And sometimes sometimes there's a need for another person. You need another person there. And if that person's not there, that's hard enough for anyone. But I feel like with you, it probably hits doubly.
Yeah, I think I've been getting a lot more sort of people interactions. So that's been really good. And I've really, really enjoyed that and realized like how important it is. I mean, I knew it, but like me getting it. Yeah, with the new job. And me being really good at it and them really seeing that I'm going to be good at it.
No, the job's going to be the next podcast. It's going to take you to some place that you didn't expect to go. You're going to be playing polo and croquet.
Yeah, I'm going to turn to a rich old white man.
Yeah.
Who owns a boat.
He's going to offer you a lot of money. And you're going to say, okay.
But yeah, that's been really fulfilling. But then it's just times when I'm overwhelmed with the house and the kids and now the dog that
you did it to yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Boo-hoo. Decisions have consequences.
Yeah, what is that? What is that motivation to say something like that to someone who's struggling?
I think it's black and white thinking. It's like, sure, there are decisions that people make, and then they don't take ownership of those decisions. And if things go bad, they go awry, and they boo-hoo, and they're constantly putting their shit on other people. Yeah. Sure, then it's easy to say, hey, look, you did this to yourself. It's dismissive. It's used.
Yeah, it's telling you that you're not allowed to feel something.
Well, it's used in a dismissive way. I think there are instances where you can say that to make the point, like, hey, you made these decisions.
Right.
Ultimately, I think if I were to say that to someone, it's like I would just say, I want to see some ownership of these decisions coming from you. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to feel the way you're feeling or that these things are difficult. But then there's the instances where, like, you being upset, even though you are actively working on yourself and working through these things. Some people don't see that. Something like the dog being difficult, it's easy to say, oh, shut up. I don't want to hear this. This is annoying to me. You made the choice. And I think in the case of the radio show, the fact that the dog barks on the air, Eric doesn't like that, so you're not going to get anything other than that.
Yeah. I really do try my best for that not to happen.
You made a stupid decision.
That's what he says.
Well, yeah, that's what comes out of it ultimately.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that people
I don't think I made a stupid decision.
I mean, I don't have any thoughts on the dog. I know I give you shit about the dog. Mostly
like
because
things are allowed to be difficult, it's okay.
I mean, knowing you in the past too, like sometimes you would seemingly make decisions on a whim. Like, this is how I feel right now. And you didn't think about where that would actually go, what it would lead to, the things that you would have to do. I'm not speaking of anything specific, just in general.
Yeah, I know.
I think there's many instances of that in your life. And I laugh. I know I'm giggling about it. And I don't mean to trivialize it. But so when the dog pops up, I think for me, I thought, is this one of those times? Is this what you are feeling lonely? The kids are there every other week. So there's a full week when you don't have them around. Are you just getting the dog to fill whatever hole you're feeling?
Yeah.
But I also know that, you've grown on that front. And we all think about what's going to happen based on the decisions we make as best we can. We never really know.
No, I mean, today, or this from this afternoon, this evening on, I wish I didn't have a dog. But then another time, I'll be like, oh, the baby, like, I'm so happy he's here. So
I don't understand the peeing thing. What does that mean when dogs go outside and pee and then come back inside and pee again? I'm sure it's common. What does it mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I take him out and I'm walking him to get him to poop. Yeah, I'm thinking like, you should poop, And then I bring him inside and he goes to the corner and poops instead. I'm like, bitch.
My puppy pees outside, then pees inside. Puppy in training. What do you do when your puppy pees outside, then pees inside the house? Quick tip. If your puppy has an accident in the house, it's important to clean it up with an enzymatic cleaner. ENZY, some kind of enzyme. So your puppy won't be able to smell the potty spot and be tempted to pee there a second or a third time. We recommend Rocco and Roxy Stain and Odor Eliminator.
They sold out.
Shouldn't I feel safe from potty accidents if my puppy already went potty? Apparently the answer to that question is resounding no. With 3 exclamation points and all.
Well, that's why I'm going around with a black light trying to find the pee spots. So I'm like, I'm eliminating that sort of smell and like, oh, this is where I like to go. But I mean, listen, today.
Your puppy lacks bladder control. That's what they say.
I took him out to pee, right?
How old is this thing?
6 months.
Oh, see, this puppy's 8 weeks.
Oh, yeah. See, I swear, I took him out today, right? I come inside. I'm standing at the table, the dining room table, and he is next to me, and he lifts up his leg and pees on my leg. It's like, what the fuck? And it's at that point where you're like, I've got like bacon cooking. I've got like, I'm mashing potatoes for the kids. Ellie, her tooth is super duper loose because she ate some like caramels or something. And like one of her teeth is super loose, but it's like it hurts her. And so I'm giving her like soft foods. And so I'm making her like a special dinner. Dog's peeing on my leg.
What tooth?
Let's see. I think it's the one that's like, okay, not the upper canine, but the one next to it.
To the farther back?
Yeah, farther back.
Farther, because it's actual distance, not theoretical.
Yeah, not the first two. Not the money fronts on the top. Not the one
that's kind of a molar. It's like a half molar type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated losing this. I hated losing all teeth. Some kids like ripping them out.
I was,
I'm gonna twist it. I'm gonna twist it and pull it out. I'd keep the tooth in there as long as possible. I wouldn't touch the thing.
I know, but she can't eat anything.
I understand.
I know bacon doesn't sound like something that you should eat, but I didn't have any other protein I could give her that was. I was like, eat just on one side.
So there's pain.
Yeah, it hurts because also it's like sitting further down now. So when like she puts her teeth together, it like touches in a weird way. I was like, oh, babe, that sucks. I'm sorry.
And then I guess pulling it out's the best option.
Well, she won't let me.
Why won't she?
Anyway.
She seems like the kind of kid who'd say, pull it out.
Yeah. No, she's pretty protective for bod.
All right.
Except when she like shows me her butt constantly. There's no problem with that. But yeah, so I don't know. I just felt like, are you fucking serious? When he peed on my leg.
Welcome to
it's just like, what is that word? Like exasperated?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just felt like, I don't know what else to do. And then, like I said, he's like plucking things out of the trash to tear up somewhere. And then I'm cleaning that up. And then, anyway, I don't mean to keep dumping, but I was just overwhelmed and tired of it all.
I have zero tolerance for any of this. Any of these things you talk about, they stress me out. And then I know in real life that they would drive me insane, but I've always known myself well enough to say, don't get yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
Don't. There's a reason. It's like 40, never been married.
Yeah.
There's people who think, you divorced? You must be divorced. It's like, no.
No.
Not that being divorced, but it's just that it's funny that people's minds go there. You're 40 and you're single. Like, I'm not single now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Legally
single.
You divorced? No, I didn't. What? You never been married at this age? No, I haven't. I don't know why it's so hard for people to grasp, but I knew that I was like, there's no way. I'm not ready for this. I'm not at that spot. I can barely deal with seeing a person more than a couple times a week. I'm not jumping into a marriage and then having kids and all that comes along with that and having a pet. There's a reason I didn't get a pet ever.
Yeah.
I also don't feel lonely. It's just an immunity I have. I am immune to loneliness. For now, I feel like at some point in my life, it would seep in, especially when you get old.
Yeah.
And everyone you know starts dying and nobody comes to visit you anymore.
Right.
Then I think, oh man, this kind of stinks. So I had to put in the work to get past that, to cut it off at the pass before it was too late.
See, I felt like I want the dog to be more behaved and be a little bit of a more adult dog. It's the puppy part that's hard.
You should have gotten, I know kids don't like normal sized dogs. That they want puppies. So you have to get a puppy because the puppy's so cute. It's so cute. Look how cute.
He's going to stay little.
Look how cute. I know, but there's plenty of, in general, there's plenty of adult dogs that need homes. And most people don't want the adult dog.
Well, a lot of the adult dogs are all like pit mixes. There's like 1 billion dogs that you can adopt, and so many of them are like part pit bull.
Yeah, and pit bulls get a bad rep.
Yeah, but they're actually pretty sweet, typically, if they're treated right.
Yeah, it's
like any dog.
I guess it's a crapshoot. You go to a pound, you don't know how it's been treated. And because there's the tendency for them, I don't even know if it's a tendency. I don't know. Like it has
I think
to
they were bred for that, maybe.
Yeah.
So it might be within their sort of makeup.
Yeah, but there's the chance that if the dog has been treated a certain way, that it's a bit aggressive, then it's really going to lean into it because it's a pit bull. Mm-hmm. And without knowing that, I get it. It's like, do I want to take that risk?
And I don't want a big dog like that. I wanted a little dog.
Yeah, I don't think, and especially with kids, I don't think, that's the right choice.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't remember why we were saying that. But
well, you said you wanted an adult dog, a dog that'll just...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The thing is, I'm looking forward to when this dog behaves better. But in the meantime, I got to teach it how to behave better. I don't know what I'm doing. So I got some quotes for training.
I feel like most people don't know what they're doing. They just wait it out. They teach the dog to go to the bathroom outside, and that's about it.
I know. I can teach. I've taught it a bunch of other stuff. Like sit, stay, lay down, roll over, high five, up, go to bed, go to your home, which is go in your kennel. Like I've taught him all that stuff, but it's the basic. Go outside, you fucking asshole.
Is it pooping inside?
Yes. I mean, his poop is little, so it's not a big deal.
No, it's still a big deal.
But it's still annoying.
So they're saying...
I said, I take him out to poop outside. I'm like, come on, long walk. Let's go.
When he pees inside,
and sometimes he will, but sometimes he won't.
Is it the same spot?
No, it's all over. Like I said, he peed on my fucking leg.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe he's pissed.
Literally. I don't know.
Anyway.
There's so much information on the internet. Read about it.
I do, but...
What do they say?
I don't know. I guess I'm like not doing it right,
I'll do some research on my own. I'll figure out your problem because that's what you wanted ultimately. You wanted all this whining and crying is because you want someone else to fix the problem for you.
Yeah, especially a man. Please fix my problems.
Yeah, I know that's your conundrum right now. You feel lonely, but you don't want a relationship. Which is fair. That's not commentary on you making a bad decision, but
yeah.
Usually it's, I don't want to say either or because people certainly have support systems and friendships and other relationships outside of their romantic relationships, because that seems to be lacking a bit in your life.
I don't feel like I have either maybe the mental energy to put forth anything for someone else right now.
It's a fair thing to know and to not get involved. I think the point in me saying this is because I know you have your friends, but it does seem like they're a bit scattered at times.
Oh yeah, that friendship group is kind of waned a bit. But me and Susanna are close now.
Not the most reliable. So
Yeah.
when you don't have that, one of the easiest fixes is I'm just going to get into a romantic relationship because here's the person and they're around. But you stating that you're not in
Every
the spot
time I
to want
try
that.
to do something like that, like I'll go on to Hinge or whatever, and I'll look around, and then I'm mostly just like, my feeling is always like, ugh. So that's telling me something.
Well, the whole thing on online dating elicits that.
Well, even that
feeling.
one guy that I was talking to, that I thought he was really cute, and he was into me. You know, he was wanting to spend time with me, but he was moving, and so he was really busy. And then I'm sure he's like broke because he just moved. And I was like, okay, just like hit me up when you have time. And then he never did. And sometimes I think about texting him. I'm like, no way, I'm not chasing anybody.
Maybe he felt as though you weren't interested because he did that.
No, he knew I was because I told him I was.
Oh, then you scared him away. Where did he move?
Oh, just up to Baltimore. He was, I think he moved from somewhere else. I don't remember. And he was he was staying at his mom's house. And then he bought this condo in Baltimore.
Oh, how old is he? 19?
No, I don't know. Well, like, I don't know. 34? I'm guessing.
There was a time with online dating when it was nice. There was a niceness to it. But when there was still a stigma attached to it, that most of these normal people, I put that in quotes, normal people, bro-y type people, things like that, who would nerd, loser, having to go online. There was a real nice time on online dating when maybe it was a bit nerdier, but it was shy people and introverts, and you wouldn't get these alpha personalities on there quite often. And
like guys with like bodybuilding pics, like not competition people, but like workout pics and stuff.
Exactly.
Ew, gross.
Exactly. And then everything that became a trope was something in its infancy. So even, posing with a tiger to me was never an impressive thing. It's like, shut up, I don't care about this. But, everyone's trying to find ways to set themselves apart. And this grew into, oh my God, here it is again. I'm seeing the same thing over and over. These people are unoriginal. But even, that aside, there was a real time in online dating when you were going to have because there was also revolving around conversations before Tinder and Bumble became a thing. And those are the standards now. OkCupid, which was the one I used to go to because it wasn't as lame as Match.com, which you also had to pay for. And especially.
And be like Christian for?
That was eHarmony.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Match.com was probably the most normal of the paid ones, but OkCupid was free, but you had to fill out a profile, and then you would pretty much write people messages back and forth, like emails, and you could get in some good conversations. And yeah, it required a bit of work, but I feel as though it was setting up people for more at least it was more likely that you'd have success than just random swiping and going off how you feel they responded to a couple messages.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they hit the right balance. It wasn't too desperate, but they also expressed interest and they were funny at the same time. And that means that's worthy to go out. And that in itself is a lot of work. I think going out on a bunch of dates and meeting the person like, this isn't going to work. That's more tiring than sitting there and writing some messages back and forth. But, OkCupid themselves, I don't even know. I think they're still around. They altered their model to match more like Tinder, which is a shame. But I did like those days early on. And I never was ashamed by it. And maybe living in New York made it a bit different because there was plenty of people on it. If you're living in the suburbs, there's not that many people, and you do come across someone you know. It's like, oh, God, no, the word's going to get out.
I don't think I've seen anyone I know.
Yeah, you're still in a big, I know you're in the suburbs, but you're in a large metropolitan area.
Yeah.
I wish those days would come back. Not that I'm engaging in online dating, but there was a sweetness, an innocence to it all. I'm sure there were still nasty dudes.
Yeah.
Because dudes are always fucking nasty. But for the most part, women weren't jaded. They weren't being bombarded constantly. like they are now with guys who think they're the hottest shit in the world, sending unsolicited dick pics. Maybe
Yeah, I don't get that,
maybe a
so-
paid site's good for you. Maybe that's what you need to
Not
do.
hot enough.
Maybe you got to go on one of the paid ones because it filters out these people.
Again,
You're going to meet
just
someone at the
wanna
yacht
do it.
club, though, so it doesn't matter.
What's that?
You're going to meet someone at the club.
Yeah. A divorced dad with a yacht.
Yeah.
With a yacht.
He's like, I have 6 kids, but they're not my responsibility. Even when
Oh, yeah. I send them to boarding school.
even when it's my weekend, they're just with the nanny. Mm-hmm. Even though they're 17 and 14 and they hang out with the nanny. And keep them there.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll meet someone who's not, you're never married. You're 43. What's wrong? That's another thing that gets assigned. What's wrong? What's wrong
Yeah,
with that guy?
I think
What's he
I would
hiding?
react. I think I would react that way. Not what's wrong with you, but more like, wow, you've never been married? Not even, I would think that. And then I hope that I would catch myself and be like, not everybody has to do exactly
Yeah, maybe it's better.
cutter experience of life.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe it's better that they didn't in some
And then the next
instances.
person I meet that's 40 and never married or whatever, I'd be like, oh,
Or it could very well mean there's something wrong with them. You don't
well,
know.
you can kind of get that sense when you're meeting somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a vibe.
All right. Well, you joined the show. I set the show
Yay.
up. People didn't know if you were going to join or not. How do I find the music? Sounds. There it is.
Thank you for putting up with me crying. Thank you for letting me be honest.
Again.
Yeah. It happened. Like and subscribe, rate, and review. Hotpepper.com. Hot on top of 15.
I will say that when we record in the morning, days we record in the morning, this doesn't happen.
No, because I'm telling the end of my day sometimes is like
Yeah, it's usually
I'm out of gas.
it's usually the 9 p.m. Sunday night recording that you're broken.
The day has broken me.